Long before the first chronicles of human memory were ever written, there existed a presence, silent, ancient, unfathomable. A presence that neither sought worship nor demanded allegiance. And civilizations separated by time, language, and geography came to know it by one name: Shiva. But who is Shiva? A god? A yogi? A destroyer? A creator? A force beyond creation itself? For Shiva is not easily defined. He is the ascetic who owns nothing, yet rules everything. And perhaps the greatest mystery is this: the most powerful being in Hindu thought possesses absolutely nothing. No kingdom, no palace, no throne, no treasure, no army, no empire. And yet even the gods bow before him. How is that possible? How can one who owns nothing become greater than those who own everything? We begin not with a story, but with a question. Why does Shiva own nothing? Across human history, power has almost always announced itself through possession. A crown upon the head, a throne beneath the body, an army at the gate, a palace rising above the city, a name carved upon pillars, a treasury guarded in darkness. And then there is Shiva. He possesses none of the usual signs of power. His body is covered not in jewels, but in ash. His clothing is not silk, but the skin of the wilderness. His ornaments are not fashioned by goldsmiths, but taken from the edges of fear itself. A serpent, a crescent moon, a river, a trident, and silence. Nothing about Shiva resembles the common image of greatness. And yet, he is called Mahadev, the great god. This is the first contradiction. The world asks, "What have you gained?" Shiva asks, "What have you transcended?" The world says, "Own more, control more, become more." Shiva sits in silence and asks, "Who are you?" when all of it is taken away. Time is patient. It erases slowly. It takes the palace. It takes the crown. It takes the empire. It takes the name. And in the end, the world returns everything it once borrowed. Shiva appears to understand this truth before the rest of creation does. He does not wait for time to take things from him. He gives them up first. This is not poverty, it is sovereignty. And freedom in the world of Shiva is the highest form of power. Perhaps this is why the sages were drawn to him. Not because he offered an easier life, but because he revealed a higher one. He demonstrated that the greatest victory is not over another kingdom, another enemy, or another world. The greatest victory is over the self. To understand why Shiva owns nothing, we must travel to the place he chose. Not a kingdom, not a heaven, not a palace, but a mountain, Kailash. Far beyond the clamor of cities, beyond the noise of marketplaces, beyond the ambitions of kings, beyond the restless hunger of human desire, rises Mount Kailash, a solitary peak of snow and stone. To the eye, it is a mountain. To the imagination, it is something far greater. An axis between earth and heaven, a threshold between the visible and the invisible. According to ancient tradition, this is the abode of Shiva, and this choice is not accidental. A god who desired display would choose a palace. A god who desired pleasure would choose heaven. But Shiva chooses a mountain. Why? Because a mountain does not flatter. A mountain does not entertain. A mountain does not distract. It simply stands, unmoved, unconcerned, ancient, austere. Below the mountain, history is restless. Kingdoms rise, borders shift, but above it all, Kailash remains silent. Perhaps this is why Shiva chose it, where ambition begins to lose its voice, where pride has no audience, where desire finds no marketplace. It is not merely Shiva's residence, it is a mirror held before humanity. For what happens when a person is removed from the endless theater of becoming someone in the eyes of others? But Kailash reveals only one part of the mystery. It explains his distance from the world. It explains his stillness. It explains his renunciation. Yet it does not explain the strangeness of his appearance. For the Lord of Kailash does not appear like other gods. To understand Shiva, one must learn to read him, for his body is a scripture, his silence is a commentary. Nothing upon Shiva is merely ornamental. Every symbol carries meaning, every detail reveals a vision of life. And the first of these symbols is ash. Ash is the final language of the material world. When the body is gone, when the palace burns, when the banner falls, when beauty fades, when strength weakens, when wealth passes from one hand to another, ash remains. Shiva covers himself in ash, not to frighten humanity, but to awaken it. Everything you cling to is temporary. The body is temporary, possession is temporary, status is temporary, even memory is temporary. He wears the end upon his skin, not as sorrow, but as wisdom. Then there is the serpent. To many, the serpent is a symbol of danger. It moves without warning, it carries venom, it awakens instinctive fear. But Shiva does not flee from it. He does not destroy it. He wears it around his neck. This is not decoration, it is declaration. The fearless are not those who never encounter fear. The fearless are those whom fear no longer rules. Upon his head rests the crescent moon, gentle, cool, changing. The moon waxes and wanes. It is the visible rhythm of time. And yet, Shiva wears it upon his head. And then comes Ganga, the sacred river, a force so vast that, according to tradition, the earth itself could not bear her descent. Unchecked power can destroy what it intends to bless. So Shiva receives her, not with violence, not with pride, but with containment. He holds the force, channels it, softens it, guides it. Power is not enough. Power without restraint becomes disaster. And in his hand, the trident. 3 points: creation, preservation, dissolution. Not enemies, not opposites, but movements of the same cosmic rhythm. What is born must be sustained. What is sustained must one day transform. What transforms makes space for what is yet to be born. But perhaps the most powerful symbol of all, the third eye. Ordinary eyes see form. They see beauty and ugliness, victory and defeat, friend and enemy, gain and loss. But the third eye sees differently. It sees through illusion. It sees the truth beneath appearances, and when truth opens, falsehood burns. Ash, serpent, moon, Ganga, trident, third eye. Each symbol returns us to the same message: own less, fear less. There is a phrase that appears almost contradictory: the ascetic king. An ascetic owns nothing. An ascetic withdraws. An ascetic renounces the world. The more one accumulates, the more one must protect. Possession creates burden. Burden creates fear. Fear creates violence. And violence creates further fear. Shiva stands outside it. This is the secret strength of the ascetic. In the world of men, ownership is often mistaken for mastery, but Shiva shows another possibility. Shiva owns nothing. This is the turning point in understanding Shiva, for he offered a vision of power beyond possession. That is why kings bowed. That is why sages meditated. That is why ordinary people across centuries continued to call upon him. But freedom has a price. To be free from possession, one must confront impermanence. To be free from fear, one must confront death. For there is one place where every story is tested. One place where the body arrives without title, without reputation, without disguise. The cremation ground. There, the king and the beggar meet the same flame. The scholar and the soldier meet the same silence. Every distinction that seemed so powerful in life is rendered fragile. And so the mystery begins to answer itself. Why does Shiva own nothing? Because he has transcended the hunger to possess. Why does he seek no throne? Because he has conquered the self. Why is he called Mahadev? Not merely because he is powerful, but because he is free. Shiva is not greatness decorated. He is greatness stripped bare. The ascetic on the mountain, the lord of silence, the bearer of ash, the master of fear, the one who owns nothing, yet rules everything.